Hello and welcome to the news on Vanguard Live. I am Precious Chukudi. We begin with the front pages of the papers this morning. Starting off with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with a pressure mount on naira falls to 1,740 naira in parallel markets. Rider says 8 months gain wiped out. NAFEM rate remains stable at 1,600 naira. CBN set to launch new forex trading system. Parallel market dealers project a further depreciation. Monetary or fiscal authorities hold divergent views. And NLC to IMF, you're behind Nigeria's economic woes. You can read that on page 8. And we can see a photo story showing 3 of Nigeria's best at World Bank IMF's meeting. First Bank Holding opens a 150 billion rights issue. NIWA to phase out wooden boats on inland waterways. Helicopter crash. Why we haven't found critical components, and that's coming from NSIB. NASU SSANU begins indefinite strike today over withheld salaries. Stories above. NGE task Southeast South governors on security. Dangote backs Tinubu's CNG drive, invest over $280 million in trucks infrastructure. Blackout, businesses others suffer setback nationwide. We take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with Ramfak faults a high cost of governance, seeks better prudence. NIWA to phase out wooden boats on inland waterways, and that's coming from the MD. Search enters day 4 as NSIB recovers 4th helicopter crash victim. And the last thing on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, Dangote backs CNG drive, invest over $280 million in trucks infrastructure. Move over to the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with again universities face lockdown as workers begin strike today. Rider says a non-teaching staff shuts varsity offices. Gates and ministry mom as ministers quit Wednesday. NSCDC arrests illegal Chinese miners in Nasarawa. Lagos probes engineers' death at a construction site. CNG Dangote invests $280 million in conversion orders. Helicopter crash, family demands body of missing NNPC worker. Stories about federal government plans a tax overhaul to assess $750 million World Bank loan. Army begins enlisting ex-soldiers to bridge manpower shortfall. And lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, EFCC to track funds as local government autonomy begins in November. Take a look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation is leading with 20 states begins a payment of minimum wage to workers. Rider says 16 states. FCT yet to finalize plans. TUC, any state not ready to pay is insensitive. Stories above. Billionaire businessman Otedola donates 3.7 billion naira engineering building phase 2 to Augustine University. Our story didn't incite unrest against government, says the Guardian. And that's all we can take on the front pages of the papers. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. If you're just joining us still today in the news on Vanguard Live, I am Precious Chukudi. Alright, we begin with some of the stories on the front pages of our papers, and we're looking at a pressure mount on naira falls to 1,740 naira in parallel markets. And of course, there are indications that the local currency is set to fully reverse its gain as depreciation trend enters a new height, hitting 1,740 naira to $1 in the parallel market at close of trading last weekend. However, the naira remained stable with minor appreciation in the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market and NAFEM. The dealers speculate that the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) would likely intervene any moment from now to curtail the pressure on exchange rate. Data from FMDQ show that the indicative exchange rate for NAFEM fell to 1,600 naira per dollar from 1,601.2 naira per dollar on Thursday, indicating 0.2 naira appreciation for the naira. Dealers who spoke to Financial Vanguard at the weekend said they expect the exchange rate to close this month around 1,750 naira to a dollar. 2024 may end at over 1,800 naira to a dollar. If this trend continues by the end of the year, the local currency would have wiped out the gains it made in March this year, when it suddenly appreciated massively, climbing down from an all-time high of 1,820 naira to a dollar. in February 2024 to 1,310 naira to a dollar, and further down to 1,240 naira to a dollar. However, the appreciation was halted in April, and subsequently depreciation began and sustained till last week. Year on year, naira depreciated in the parallel market by 70.5% to 1,705 naira per dollar at close of third quarter trading on September 30th, 2024, from average 1,000 naira to a dollar in September 2023. Year to date, it depreciated in the market by 16.7% from 1,490 naira to a dollar in January 2024, and the naira recorded a massive 104% year-on-year depreciation in the official segment. NAFEM to 1,540.78 naira per dollar in September 2024 from 755.27 naira in September 2023. However, year-on-year, NAFEM has recorded just 9.9% depreciation to 1,600 naira to a dollar last weekend from 1,455.9 naira to a dollar in January 2024. Analysts and dealers have blamed the sustained depreciation of the local currency on supply shortages. Move over to our next story. Our next story is on helicopter crash, why we haven't found critical components, and that's coming from the NSIB. 4 days after a Sikorsky SK-76 helicopter with registration 5NBQG operated by East Wind Aviation crashed in Port Harcourt, the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau (NSIB) has said no critical component of the aircraft has been found. It also disclosed that only 4 bodies of victims of the crash had been found, and not 5 as erroneously reported. NSIB stated that the no recovery of critical components of the chopper was due to the challenging conditions of the operating environment, limited visibly at depth, and human divers operational constraints. Director of Public Affairs and Family Assistance NSIB, Mrs. Bimbo Ladeji, said despite these limitations, the agency was working to deploy a remotely operated vehicle ROV equipped to operate at depth of up to 1,000 meters. Meanwhile, the NSIB said yesterday 4, not 5 bodies of victims of the crash had been recovered. It stated that after recovering 3 bodies, 2 others were sighted, but noted that efforts to retrieve them ended in futility. Oladeji, however, said everyone was expediting effort to ensure that the other bodies were retrieved. Moving on to our next story, NASU SSANU begins indefinite strike today over withheld salary, and the Joint Action Committee (JAC) of non-teaching staff unions in the universities has directed its members to proceed on a nationwide indefinite strike from today over the non-payment of 4 months of withheld salaries. The JAC comprises the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions (NASU) and the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian University (SSANU). Strike, according to leaders of the 2 unions, would commence on Sunday night of September 27, 2024. JAC, in a circular to all branch chairmen of NASU and SSANU in the university and inter-university centers with the title Latest Development in Respect of the Withheld 4-Month Salary, explained that the strike, initially billed for October 23rd, was rescheduled because of the Trade Group Council meeting of NASU branch on the said date. JAC regretted that despite President Bola Tinubu's directive that 50% of the 4 months withheld salary be paid, the alleged inaction of the Minister of Finance raised question about the government's commitment to resolving the issue. In view of this, the leadership of JAC has decided that the effective date for the strike be moved to the midnight of Sunday, October 27, 2024, to allow the branch officers of NASU to be on ground before commencing the strike. Take a look at Mr. and Mrs. before we go, and Mrs. is speaking. She says, because you are donned the latest senator attire, people call you senator. I wish you are a real senator. And Mr. responds and says, but you are one of those speaking against the allowances. And Mrs. responds and says, me? Can't remember doing that. Of course, when it comes to money, Mrs. will obviously deny the fact. Alright, so that's all we can take on today in the news. Remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. To find out today's stories, go to our website www.vanguardnj.com. I am Precious Chukudi, and thank you for watching.